channel. We are here with another episode of our success series. And I've got a good guest here with us today who just killed a great buck out of his saddle, River Strachan. How are you, man? Thanks for being
Good.
here.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for having me.
You bet, you bet. So, you got after him again a little bit the other day. So
Yep.
it's pretty sweet. But hey, real quick, to kind of get us going and limbered up here, I'm going to hit you with some rapid fires. All right.
Sounds
Little
good.
this or that type questions. So hold on. I'm
Okay.
going to look down at my notes here. All right. You ready?
Yep.
Summer sausage or deer jerky?
Summer sausage.
There you go. Coffee or energy drink?
Coffee.
Man. Okay. Mechanical or fixed blades?
Fixed blades.
If you had to fight one, grizzly bear or mountain lion?
Mountain lion.
Morning hunts or evening hunts?
Evenings.
All right, and then this one's not really a rapid fire, but give me your top three bucket list animals with a bow.
Probably elk, moose, and like high country mule deer.
There you go, dude. That's like the pinnacle three there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Well, heck of a deal. Well, first thing, let's get started. Give us a little bit of a backstory on you, just who you are, where you're from, what got you into hunting and bow hunting.
Okay. So obviously, my name's River Strachan. 27 years old. Lived in southeast Wisconsin basically my whole life. Grew up hunting nearby here. I've hunted around the state. My family actually owns a gravel company, so we got some quarry land that we're allowed to hunt, and that's in a handful of different counties around the state. So actually, where I killed my buck this year is one I've never set foot on until October 2nd this year for the first time. But yeah, I started hunting with my dad when I was 4 years old. Actually, it was the first time I ever went out. Um, After that, we couldn't hunt until or shoot till we were 12 years old in Wisconsin until,
Okay.
I mean, that changed, of course, when I turned 13. Then you could hunt at 10 and then
Okay. So that's a
change.
law. That's a Wisconsin law.
Yep.
Okay.
Nowadays, you can hunt when you're younger. They have like the mentor program and stuff, a little bit
Okay.
more regulation behind it. But yeah, so I couldn't actually shoot till I was 12, but I hunted every year since I was 4. Just we did a lot of deer drives growing up when it was just my dad and my uncle hunting the properties. All of us kids would go out and just walk through the marshes and walk through the woods for them and stuff like that. So, we always seen the action and got to be in on it and stuff. But once I started hunting, that was actually first year, 3 days into the season. I ended up shooting a 130-inch 9-pointer for my first deer ever.
Sweet.
And yeah, I mean, I was hooked.
Heck
I,
yeah.
didn't, I didn't kill another buck for years after that, but
That's all right.
good
No,
to know.
that Wisconsin tradition, man, that's super cool. Like no one where I'm from here, no one does like the deer drive thing really. And I'm sure there's a lot of heritage that got passed down there from your dad and your grandfather, and to kill something like that right off the rip, that's some kind of cool right there.
Yeah, I mean it was different growing up. I mean, a lot of those properties we did it on, the pits have expanded so much. We don't have the wildlife habitat on those properties anymore to really be putting a lot of pressure on them like we used to. I mean,
Hmm.
growing up, it was 50 deer a day was a normal type of hunting day,
Oh
seeing
wow.
and stuff. Nowadays, it's not like that on most of those properties. But yeah, I mean that drive, it was a 2-acre woods. That was the only deer that came out. We went and did the same drive the next morning, and my dad shot a smaller 9-pointer. But yeah, nowadays, probably wouldn't even find a deer in that woods.
Ah, dang.
But
Well,
uh, but yeah, we eventually kind of grew out of the doing drives as my cousins all got older, and we had more people just sitting on the property. And as some of us got into bow hunting, we just kind of stopped doing it altogether. Just decided, less pressure is good. We'll just sit it out every year, and that was that. And I eventually started bow hunting on some of the different properties, more along the eastern side of the state, a little farther north, pretty close to Lake Michigan, actually. And never had success. I mean, bow hunting for me was just, well, this is where we have a ladder stand. This is where I'm going to sit.
Yeah.
And never panned out to much. Only ever shot at one deer, missed it. And I ended up getting out of bow hunting for 7, 8 years. Actually, started duck hunting with my friends.
Okay.
Had kids. Ended up just go up for a few years for the gun deer season. Um, this year was actually the first year I think in 7 or 8 years I bow hunted. Um,
Okay. So,
I
what year was it that you started bow hunting? Actually, like, what was that first year? What kind of time frame?
I would have been 14 years old, so I believe that
Okay.
would have been, God, I don't know, 2012,
Okay.
somewhere in there, maybe a little later than that.
And then
Um,
took the hiatus after that, and then just got back into it, basically.
yep, I did it through high school, and then I think by the time I was 18, I stopped for a while and just picked it back up this year. Just had a little more time and stuff. Shot a nice buck last year with my gun and kind of got excited about it again.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've been pretty out of touch with everything. I actually didn't even hear about saddles or anything until probably December of last year, when my buddy that I hunt with told me about them.
Well, it's so new, and I mean, I didn't start. I think it was 2020-ish year was the kind of the first time that I heard about it and got started in it. So it's still very new. I feel like there's people every day that's online on the group that's sitting there saying like, "What do I need? What's this? How do I do this?" So it's so new that people are they don't know that no one knows all the answers, and it's always evolving, and we're learning new things. So don't feel like you're the only one left out on that. It's very new still, in my opinion.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I only bought my stuff back in February or March, I think, and just since then, all the new stuff that's come out, it's kind of been like, oh man, that would have been nice if
Yeah,
I got
sure.
that when I initially spent all this money. And
Yeah,
but yeah, it's cool though. I mean, I really like it. At first, when I first was told about it, and my friend showed me, I was one of the ones where it's like, there's no way that's comfortable. Like I wouldn't spend all that money if I couldn't sit all day because I'm one that I like to sit, sun up to sundown during the rut and stuff like
heck
that.
yeah,
I mean, I'll do that in October if I'm seeing deer and stuff.
absolutely.
I like being out there, and
Heck yeah,
so yeah. At first, I was, totally, nope, no way, I'm not gonna do that. And as I watched more YouTube videos and stuff like that, I kind of got more into it, and it's like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna give this a shot, and ended up
yeah,
being pretty much the only thing I wanted to hunt out of this year.
heck yeah. Well, what did you land on then? What kind of gear and saddle and what equipment are you using?
So I went into it, I didn't really do much research, just kind of went off what my buddy said at the
Hmm.
time. And I went pretty much everything I have is tethered right now. There's some stuff I'll adjust to next year differently. But overall, I mean, I love all the stuff I got. Um,
That's great products. I mean, I've never sat in one of their saddles, but I run their Skeletor sticks, and I love those.
yep, those are the sticks I got too.
Sweet.
I think next year I was thinking about going to the one sticks or either just buying like a one stick setup. I mean, I have a rappel kit and all that. I would just need to buy the stick itself, but I haven't fully decided what I want to do that route. But I have the tethered ultralock saddle,
Okay. Is
the
that the one that's
original.
got the? Oh, it's the original
Yep.
one.
Yep, the
Okay.
one where the bags are sewed on,
Yeah.
everything.
Okay.
I think I bought it when it was still called the lockdown saddle before they had to change the name
Yeah.
and stuff
Okay.
like that.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, I mean, at first, I was having a hard time getting comfortable in it and stuff, but I mean, I only had 8 actual hunting sits in it, and my last sit I think was 6 hours almost, and I had no problem with it. And I was in
Yeah.
a tree. I mean, my rope was what was holding me onto the tree. If I wasn't hooked up, I would have fallen right off my platform. It was at such an angle.
Oh
So
man,
yeah, it was
gnarly one.
it. Yeah, once I figured it out, it is comfortable.
Heck yeah. No, it takes a little bit of to getting adjusted in your tether height and all the things, but
Yep.
once you figure it out, like I said, I kind of said this in the last podcast, but to me, sure, there's the Cadillac lock-on tree stands, and those are comfortable. But just your run-of-the-mill ones, you can't beat a saddle, in my opinion. I would rather be in the saddle. And to go off your post that you had put on Facebook, the ability to hide yourself in them,
Mm,
man, it makes a big difference a lot of the
yep.
times. So
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I never shot a deer before this year with a bow. It was always with guns my whole life.
yeah,
Never was successful with the bow. Times that deer would be close enough, I always got busted or something like that. And actually, opening day here is September 15th. Well, this year, or the 14th, maybe. I don't know. It's always the Saturday closest to the 15th in September. But I mean, it was hot. I mean, we had a heat advisory for the afternoon, so we just went out for the morning hunt. And I ended up shooting a doe right away, opening morning. And I mean, that I wouldn't have killed her if I was in a normal stand. She would have busted me. I was 13 yards off where she stopped, and she stood there for almost 15 minutes. And just being behind the tree, I'm pretty sure, is the only thing that kind of saved me. I was able to just peek around and wait till I could tell her body was facing the opposite way before I finally came around the tree to shoot. Um, and then yeah, with my buck too, the tree I was in was one of those ones where it's got three trunks coming off the base. None of them are straight, and then the trees just V every couple, 8 feet or so. There's a V in the tree, and branches everywhere, bushes growing into it. And I mean, I had to trim my way up the tree and stuff like that. And I mean, I had my sticks. Basically, they were just hanging off the V's in the tree. They weren't even actually attached to the tree at in points. And
using it as a foot peg at some points.
yep, I mean, it wasn't the safest thing, but I got up that tree, and it was really the only tree in the spot I wanted to be. That morning, I'd seen a lot bigger buck than the one I shot, actually, and that was the way he went. And I scouted it out. Like I said, it's a new property for me, and I found a bunch of beds along this ridge, and at the bottom of the ridge, I could see more beds. Um, but it was all this like real thin reed grass, only probably waist high, and all the trees that were growing in the middle of it were just straight as an arrow, no branches for cover, nothing. And and with the way the wind was, it was in a bowl. I knew it was going to swirl in there, so I wanted to stay on the edge. So it was the only tree that I could climb even, and yeah, I got up it, and uh, I mean it didn't work out exactly how I was hoping. He came in from the way opposite of what I was hoping a deer would do. But yeah, doe came in and she kept looking behind her, which I was seeing rutting activity all morning, so I knew they were chasing at least in my area.
That's good.
And she kept looking behind her, so I was watching. It's probably 80 yards away. A small little 6 pointer came in following her, just grunting away, and but then he just stopped, started rubbing a pine tree, and follow, ended up following her, but just kind of walked off. Wasn't really chasing. And 5 minutes or so later, the buck I killed, he came down the same trail, stopped at that same tree, started rubbing it, uh, started following him off. I hit him with two grunts, and he looked around for a couple minutes, and eventually turned around and walked right up under my tree. Shot him at about 10 yards.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet. So you make a good shot on him, punch it in there.
Yeah, it was a hard quartering two shot.
Quarter
Um,
two, okay.
yep, he was walking right at my tree when I stopped him. Uh, Went in. Somehow I must have rode the rib cage or something, because I got a. It went in right behind the shoulder where you'd want it to. It took out one lung and just barely nicked the other one. There was a little slice in it, and then it punched through the bottom of the diaphragm and came out by the back leg on the opposite side, but it didn't
Okay.
hit any of the other guts.
Really?
Stomach and intestine and everything were all totally intact. So,
So it got past all that before it decided to get out of there, huh?
yep, and
You,
it passed through and everything. I mean, I found my arrow right away and stuff, and but yeah, just must have just went right down the side of him.
heck yeah. What how far did you end up getting going?
About 100 yards.
At 100 yards. Right
Yeah, I
on.
just ran out into a field and dropped right there.
Sweet.
Yep.
Well, Were you and you said you in your rapid fires there, you said you were a fixed blade guy.
Yeah.
What kind of, broadhead are you using?
So I was using when I shot my doe earlier this year. I was using the Annihilator XLs.
Mhm.
Um, I didn't mind them, but I mean, I got a heart shot on her, and the blood trail wasn't easy to follow for the first 40 yards. I mean, she went 80 yards on a heart shot, and I mean,
Mhm.
it's hilly country where I was, so I didn't see where she fell or anything. And yeah, the blood trail was real hard to follow, and ended up I lost the broadhead. It actually snapped off. Um, I never found the end of it, but yeah, the screw in part was stuck in my arrow. Um, but I switched to the just bought a pack of the Magnus. What are they? The Stingers,
Stingers,
the
yep.
two blade
2
ones.
blades, yep.
And yeah, that's what I was using when I killed my buck.
How was the blood with the buck?
Um, it actually, I'm not totally sure. I mean, it wasn't great. I mean, at first, it was easy enough. I was following it. I walked 60 yards in maybe 2 3 minutes. Like it was easy enough to follow. It wasn't hands and
Sure.
knees or anything. Also, the type of grass in the area where I hunt is very thin and wispy, so it's hard to see blood on it. There's really nothing for blood to like collect on,
I
so
see,
you're
yeah.
looking for it on just stalks. But it ended up being I couldn't really tell which way he turned in the grass. So I knew he crossed the driveway where I was coming up to. I was probably 30 yards from the driveway, and the last I had seen him, he was just across it. So I walked over to the driveway, and I was just going to look for blood along the edge, and ended up seeing his antler sticking out of the grass,
Sweet,
probably
sweet.
30 yards or so away.
Heck
Um,
yeah.
yeah, he just barely got out of sight, and that's where he dropped.
Well, that's good. I mean, like I said, you punched it in there on that entry side. Like I said, that some of your blood or whatever, if you got a interesting exit there,
Yep,
that probably had something to do with it, obviously. But you tucked it in there where it needed to be, so it all worked out. You ain't gonna make it very far.
yep,
But that's awesome. So, like, I mean, going back, that was the first year killing some deer with a bow.
yep.
What kind of when you finally punched that ticket on that buck? I know you can talk about the doe too, but talk about the first one, just the feelings more so than the hunt. Like, what'd you feel whenever that doe and then getting a tag a buck not long after? What
Uh,
what was going through your head and your mind, and how you're feeling on that?
so I've always been pretty good. Like I stay calm before the shot. I mean, I got a handful of nice ones on the wall I've killed, and I've always been very calm leading up to it. I'm very good at when I see it, just kind of figuring out like, okay, this is where I'm going to shoot. Like this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah,
Um, so I've never had an issue with that, and that it didn't happen this year either with the bow. I mean, I was just stone cold right through the shot. Honestly, neither deer I didn't get excited until I found the deer. Both of them, I think it was just being first ones with the bow. That second I shot, all that goes through my head is, was it a good shot?
yeah,
Did I hit him where I wanted to? I wasn't using lighted nocks or anything, so like I didn't see where my arrow went in the best. Um, the buck I knew, I watched it go. I could see it go in, and it felt good. I wasn't as concerned with him, especially when I found the arrow. I mean, the fletching was covered in bubbles and stuff like that.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. You
but
sent the pictures; they look good. That
yeah, but with the doe, I was really nervous. Actually, she turned really hard when I shot. Um, my bow is actually that I was using this year is pretty loud. It's a 2008 Bowtech, and it's actually my dad's old one. Mine needed to be restrung, but I want to buy a new one this next spring,
there you go.
so I didn't want to spend the money to restring mine this year. So I just used his for the season, and it's always been very loud. And yeah, as soon as I shot, I mean, she jumped hard, and I mean, I was aiming at her broadside, and I ended up hitting her straight on. It went in kind of in the top of the brisket. So with her, it was almost just like pure disappointment the second I shot. It was
A
just like,
little panic set in.
oh God, like I got a bad shot. I just watched her run off with my arrow sticking out past her face. Um, but then, yeah, I found her. arrow was still sticking out of her, so the arrow was fairly clean, other than however deep it went in. But
Yeah.
yeah, when I gutted her, it it just it went through, it pierced through her heart, and I got lucky with that. I feel like just with
Heck yeah.
how she turned. But yeah, with the buck, it was just you know up in the tree. It was just pure. Was it a good shot? And as soon as I found the arrow and stuff, I got excited. Sent a picture to my dad and my buddy that I usually hunt with and stuff, and um, I was like, "Yeah, I'll call you guys. I'm pretty sure I got a good shot, but I think it was a single lung. He was quartering to. He might be, 300 yards away. I'm not sure." And then yeah, I saw him laying there about 5 minutes later. Then I was
Heck
excited.
yeah. That's pretty good trait to have. I know I still, man, I get jacked. I mean, my wife will make fun of me, everything else, but I get jacked before the shot and I gotta really talk myself through it to calm myself down. So obviously you can get excited afterwards too. But yeah, if you're stone cold through the shot, that's the way to be. I wish I was that way.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I mean, I'd get all shaky and excited the second I'd see a deer. And I don't know, as time went on, it kind of went away. First, it was kind of does I got cool with,
Hmm.
and then it was always just after the shot I started feeling it, and that's kind of how it's been for a while. Which I like it,
Yeah, sweet.
especially bow hunting. I'd hate to have the shakes when I'm right there in the moment. Especially if it happened quickly. It was
Sure.
always easy, even when I was younger. If it's a situation that deer's hanging around for a while, like I could calm myself down and stuff. But yeah, in those quick situations, it's nice. Even just the other night, my buddy calls me. He missed one on Friday, unfortunately, but he thought he hit it, and he calls me, and he's just, oh, I think I got one, and just
Yeah.
just excited. And I'm just the exact opposite. It's the second I shoot, it's just, oh my god, was it good? If I don't see him drop, it's just instant. I hope that was a good shot.
Right. Golly. Well, so does being that it was such a while before you shot one with your bow, did it change anything as far as like, are you still going to pick up a rifle if given the opportunity? Or are you kind of moving forward? Do you think you'll be a bow only type guy, or what's that look like for you?
I'll still go out with a rifle. I mean,
Hmm.
with Wisconsin regulation, so you get one buck tag with your gun deer license, one with your bow license.
Hmm.
Um, I think I'm not sure even if you get another one with a muzzle loader. I've never muzzle loader hunted, but
Okay.
and then your doe tags are based on the county you're in,
Hmm.
how many you get, and if it's public or private land and whatnot. And so, I mean, we try to fill the freezer, and just with that fact, like I'll still rifle hunt regardless. We usually also try to shoot a few deer for some people we know, uh,
Sure.
just because I mean, where we hunt, we got a lot of deer. I sat, 8 times this year. I think that I seen. I was going back in my messages with my buddy. I always kind of give him a recap of what I seen and stuff, and I think I added it up to roughly like somewhere between 85 and 90 deer I seen in 8 sits
Oh,
this year.
dang.
Yeah,
That's quite a bit. Yeah,
yeah,
that's a lot of deer. And so
yeah.
you'll plan on you can still rifle hunt. You're gonna rifle hunt some more, and then you got some more does in your future too as well.
I'm done archery hunting for the
Done
year.
archery hunting. Okay.
When I bought my tags, I thought I was going to be hunting a different county only this year.
Hmm.
This one, so my uncle's the owner of the company. He gave me permission for this property right before October, and said I could hunt down there the rest of the season if I wanted. So I bought both, or my archery tag was for the other county, and I only got one doe tag for up there. I could buy more doe tags, but I feel like we'll fill our freezer with our rifle season this year. My girlfriend's actually going to go out with me too. So,
Sweet.
and I bought my license, and we get two doe tags a piece. So I mean that's six more deer we could shoot. I mean we're probably not going to shoot that many, but
Yeah. Well, I don't know, like I said, a whole lot about the Wisconsin stuff, but I'm fairly certain. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I know there's a big heritage thing there, so I kind of would have been shocked if you would have said you were going to give up rifle hunting in any way, because I know that is a big thing there. Like I've
yeah,
always been told there's an Orange Army that does their deer drives and they have a good time, and deer camp's still alive and well there, from what I understand. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we've never really done the deer camp stuff just
Hmm.
because most of the places we hunt, one of the family members' houses will be close by or something
Yeah,
like that. We can usually just stay somewhere. But yeah, I know. I mean, I know plenty of guys that, that's alive and well. You go up 2, 3 days before season even starts just to be up there, and a lot of those guys are the ones that, oh, it's been 10 years since I shot a deer, but I can't wait for gun deer season this year. It's going to be
heck
great.
yeah.
It's a social thing. The bars are loaded. And yeah, the Orange Army thing is no joke. I think it's like somewhere around like 700,000 tags a year are sold in just for the gun deer season alone in Wisconsin.
Sheesh.
I mean, yeah, the public land is loaded. Some of our properties are close to public land, and we actually will just set up, 200 yards off the road and just wait for the people on the public land to start pushing deer
Push them
around and
off.
stuff. Um, yeah, I mean, I know people that they got groups of 30 guys and they got permission from, 50 farmers in 2 counties, and they just go and walk every single standing cornfield and small woods that's around. And it'll be 12 hours into the season and you'll see they'll have a deer pole hanging out in one of their yards, and they'll have 15 bucks hanging on it, and that's only half their
Mm,
tags. And yeah, it's crazy.
that is
It's a real
crazy.
thing. I
And
mean, some
that's,
places get over pressured. I mean, I think some people go a little overboard. A lot of people are brown is down, and you
yeah,
know that's something we've always tried to avoid on our properties. We try to shoot, but we've always had the rule bucks have to be outside the ears.
yeah,
Um, and we usually put a limit on how many does as a group we shoot.
yeah.
So, you
Well, that's
know,
crazy. There's that, you got that many hunters and they're stacking them up that much, but then you're saying you're seeing so many deer. I mean, it's a good problem to have, I guess, but that's kind of wild to me that they're just laying them down and then you're still seeing 80, 90 deer in 8 sits.
oh yeah, I mean, where I live, it's near the Horicon Marsh, which is actually, I think it's like the largest marsh system in the country.
Oh, okay.
Um, but there's a lot of public land around here, and I know some of those groups I'm talking about. I mean, they push the public land around here. Opening morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, they're already out there pushing it, and there's still been years. I mean, eighth day of the season, one day left. Me and my buddy went out. He shot a 10 pointer, and I missed the biggest buck I've ever seen in my life. And it's a 60-acre public plot.
Mm,
They're everywhere. I mean, there's
sure.
there's so many deer around here.
Yeah.
I mean, the place that I'm hunting this year, it's 110 acres roughly, I think. And yeah, just between the field, there's one egg field on the property that's probably 40 acres, and just between that and then the actual quarry, when I just leaving, walking out at night, you'll not uncommon see 30, 40 deer.
No kidding.
And they're just the the egg fields kind of concentrate them. It's a lot
Mhm.
different than hunting the states where it's big woods and stuff like that.
Sure.
We
What
don't
kind
have
of,
that spread out population.
you bet. What kind of ag is it that you usually have in there?
It's a rotation. Pretty much all ag in Wisconsin's on a rotation. So it'll be corn for a couple of years, then it'll go soybeans and alfalfa. I don't know all the science behind it, but it's
Sure.
something with keeping the phosphorus at a
Yeah.
certain level and
Yeah.
whatnot. So yeah, it's different year to year, and yeah, the crop rotation affects a lot of where people hunt and stuff. I mean, one of our other properties that I hunt pretty regularly last year was, you know, this time of year, 200 pictures a day per camera. Now you get maybe 2 deer on camera a day
Good.
because the crops all changed and they're
I see.
not. That property is pretty much dead right now. So.
Yeah. So whenever they get, like, you get that corn in there or whatever, do you get a lot of pictures in that stain? Like, because they're probably in it and don't come out of it, right?
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah. The cornfields, especially the ones where they'll have a low spot that it'll flood. I mean,
Okay.
they might live in there all year. I mean,
Yeah. Till it comes
come the
out.
time
Yeah.
of year when the corn comes off, all of a sudden you might get pictures of bucks that you haven't seen yet that year,
Mm,
and they might have been living 400 yards from where your camera is this whole time.
that's
Um,
wild.
So yeah, it's a little different with with the corn and stuff, and then those cornfields, they hold them a lot, uh, you know, later into the season if there's still some corn on the ground. Right now, they just recently got done combining, so the dough and stuff have been out there a lot lately. There's scrape lines along every cornfield in sight and stuff like that.
Dang. Well, that's cool. What was the date that you killed your buck on?
Oh gosh, last week Saturday. I'm trying to remember what the date was offhand. Um,
You said a week ago from Saturday.
yeah, I got a calendar right
I
here.
gotcha. Ain't no big deal. I
The
just curious as
26th.
I got you. Yeah, 'cause you said they were already pushing and starting pretty good there. So
Yeah, a lot of people I talked to though weren't seeing the same thing. I mean, I was in the southern part of the state. I was the county I was in actually borders Illinois.
oh
Uh,
sweet.
so yeah, it's pretty close to that part of the state. But I mean, my dad, my stepbrother, my friend, a couple other people from work I know were all out, and no one else was seeing anything. And I didn't expect to see rutting activity that morning. And then I mean, hour into my hunt, I had 6 different bucks walk past after a doe came through, and then I could see down into the actual quarry, and I could see just deer being chased around down there.
Hmm.
300 yards away, I could just see them chasing, and yeah, so I just kind of started moving around and seeing where stuff was, and just made a game plan for the afternoon, and panned out.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Well, what? So first year saddle hunting.
Yep.
Give us a little bit of advice, something you would tell someone else, maybe to shorten that learning curve of someone else that's in their first year. What's something that you've picked up that you would um, pass along to the next person to help them out a little bit?
Um, Whenever you get your gear or your first time trying out anything new with your gear, if it doesn't work out smoothly that first time, don't just immediately abandon it and hate it. Pretty much every single thing that I've bought and tried this year for it, the first time it did not go great. Um, I mean, might have taken a while, or you're fidgeting with the stuff trying to get it to work right. You're not comfortable. It's there's so many different things that go wrong. I mean, I had one of my sticks kick out on me the one day, which I mean, it was my fault. I didn't have it attached right, and the bark was pretty slippery on the tree
Yeah.
that I was using. But I mean, I even like the one day when I bought my rappel kit, I just for the hell of it, I climbed a tree with one of my Skeletors, just one sticking, and it just it felt awful doing it. And then there was one day I had left some of my sticks on a tree, and I wanted to be in a different spot, and I didn't want to go up and down the tree taking it all. So I just took my bottom stick off with the aider, and I went and did it, and it went way smoother than that first time and stuff. It's just anything that goes wrong, instead of just looking at it like, oh, this sucks, like this could be fixed with this gear, look at it more like, well, what did I do wrong? What can I
True.
change, or like, how should I do this differently? Because if you figure out what you got instead of constantly trying to change it, it's just gonna go that much smoother that first
Yeah,
time out in the woods. I mean,
absolutely.
if you're like me and your first time out actually hunting in it, and you're setting up in the pitch dark, and you can see deer 20 yards away from you looking at you while you're doing it, and it just goes a lot better if you just know the gear you have, instead of, well, I bought this because I think this will work better, and then you get out there and you don't even know how to use that.
Absolutely. Well, to piggyback off you a little bit, for sure, I think everybody get out there and practice a little bit. I think that's one thing because it is totally different. It's going to be totally different in the dark and practice, be safe. Like you said, the things can happen. Like you said, you had one kick out on you, you get in a gnarly tree. Make sure you know how your gear works beforehand and practice. And then again, like you said, everything is so adjustable from the tether heights to your bridge length to all kinds of different things. So don't give up on it right away. Practice in it and get comfortable and help you out in the long run. But
Yep.
heck yeah. Well, sounds like you got a rifle tag that you might get after, and you're gonna help a girlfriend out and probably some buddies. And um, man, it was a great buck you killed. I want to thank you for hopping on here with us and talking with us a little bit about it and chopping it up a little bit. So
Yeah,
congratulations and thanks, man.
yeah, I appreciate the opportunity. Something new for me too, but it
You
was
bet.
cool. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, we'll let you go. Y'all stay safe and kill the giant.
Yeah,
Later.
you too, and good luck in your season.
You bet. Thanks, man.
All right, thank you.
You bet.
Bye.